Hey y'all, it's Dr. Shamanda. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things mental health, personal finance, and overall strategies to live your best life. All right, guys, welcome back. It is day 7. I cannot believe we are officially in the last week. The last video of the first week of this 28-day money education challenge. Oh yeah, I know I look a little different, y'all. I don't have my eyeliner on, and I'm about to head to the gym. I got one therapy session in a minute, and I'm heading to the gym. So, and I'm fasting, and I'm just drinking water over here, y'all. So I'm doing I said 24-hour fast, but it's probably gonna be closer to 36 because I started last night. Told y'all I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, and just, get clear on stuff, So anyway, y'all, I wanted to talk about this concept of money fear versus money reality. And I think it's so important to really think about that because obviously that ties into anxiety. And for you guys who are new, just FYI, this is a 28-day money education challenge. Just me, challenging myself to share with you guys financial ideas, strategies, my thoughts around anxiety, depression, career transitions, any type of life change, specifically related to money, and from the perspective of a therapist, okay? And if you're new here, I am a licensed mental health and addictions therapist. I've been in this field of mental health, addictions, behavioral health for almost 20 years. And I have my own private practice where I help high achieving women and heal their relationship with money. And so on here, I share my own personal journey around money, but also, give strategies and tips and all that. But I'm not a financial advisor, expert, anything like that. I'm just sharing what I know, okay? All right, so let's get into this, y'all. So money, fear versus reality. Fear isn't always rooted in reality, right? It's perspective. And remember what we've been talking about all this time, this past week, is how our bodies, our mind specifically, is trained and focused on keeping us safe, just keeping us alive. So it'll keep us sometimes in survival mode, which is connected to fear. All right, so let's talk about this. Money fear speaks in absolutes, right? So a couple ideas of how money fear might sound in your life. I'm going to run out of money, right? So you might think I don't have enough to cover all my bills this month. You might say things like, I can't afford this. Like, I don't have enough, right? Or like this idea that if you make one wrong move, one wrong purchase, you kind of go off track on your budget that month, now everything falls apart. It's that whole perfectionism idea or concept, which perfectionism is part of anxiety or piece of anxiety, or lives under the umbrella rather, right? And so when you're thinking about money fear, it's this whole all or nothing thinking. In mental health, behavioral health, we talk about this, the black and white thinking. There's another concept for it in CBT. I'm just lost it when I say that. But for most people, you just kind of know it as black and white thinking, all or nothing language. And that's the absolute piece when it comes to money fear. So you want to be mindful of that because that's not reality. Life is a little bit gray. Ironic that I have on gray today, right? But it's a little gray. It's not all like either black or white, right? There's like a little bit in the middle, right? And that's with everything, including money. All right. The second thing I wanted to talk about is how money reality, which is on the other side of money fear, is based on numbers and not emotions. Now, we're all human. So, of course, when we're looking at our money, we are looking, we're seeing these numbers, but it brings up these emotions and these thoughts and ideas, right? And so when you want to look at money from a space of reality versus fear, you want to just ask yourself what's actually coming in. And that's why budgeting is so important. Now, y'all know I'm steering away from this whole, the personal finance world where it's just like, oh, you need to save this amount and pay this off first, and like very rigid thinking, black and white thinking, essentially, which works at the beginning. I will say, when you need to just really lock in, yeah, sometimes you got to go all in with it and be very rigid sometimes. I think there's a way to do it. But anyway, But some people, like, again, I think I was saying that you steer away from your budgets, but you need to know what you have coming in, what your income is. Where is it coming from? How often? Like, I have multiple sources of income, and I have a budget. Like, do I have my budget book here? Yeah. It is so dirty, like, with all this writing, pencil marks all over it. But this is my budget book for this year, right? Because I change it every year. It's the same one, but I go through them. I think it's from, like, November through October every year. But I know my numbers. I know what's coming in, what day, everything. So you have to know what's coming in. That'll keep you grounded in reality. You also need to know what's going out, right? It's income and expenses. When you know those numbers, it just helps you be more grounded, right? You're not just looking at a bunch of numbers and feeling this emotional response of, like, anxiety or fear or stress or overwhelm. You can know what you're dealing with. And then you also want to look at, like, what your savings and your investments actually show. If you want to check out my most recent investment breakdown and update, check out a video I just posted about where my numbers are. My 401k, my 457b, and my Roth. So you can definitely check that out. And thank y'all for watching that video, because that video got, like, almost 3,000 views on it. And that's good for my channel, so I appreciate that. So go check that out if you want to see what I got going on. I will be posting another updated video for my investments, I guess, on the 28th of this month. So I'll do it at the end of every month, so we can check in on that. All right. I guess number 3 is fear can come from your past experiences, not necessarily the present facts or reality, right? So that's just a whole thing. That's just life, right? Most of the time, the way we feel about something is because we've had a certain experience from it, especially, or even including money, y'all. That's why we talk a lot about your money story. What is your origin when it comes to money? What was your first experience with money and first perception and concept of money? I told y'all in, like, I think the first video, I talked about how for me growing up, it was always this story or arguments or issues around not having enough, which for me created a sense of anxiety around money. I can't, like, literally, even still to this day, and I'm still working through this, I can't go to a store with just, like I need to have backup. So if I had cash, I'm going to need my debit card too, and then maybe a credit card. Even though I wouldn't use the credit card, just knowing that I have it. Anybody can relate to me? That's how deep the anxiety was around money. Why? Because I've been in situations where I didn't have enough. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you can relate, you know. Where you go and you're like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be $40. I only brought $30, right? Listen. Or I remember being a little girl, my mom would, like, pay the light bill or electricity bill, and I would go with her. And I'm just a little kid, but I'm watching and hearing her, like, the lady tell her, like, oh, you need another $15 or something like that. And she's already scrounged up just enough to get what she had. And they tell her, oh, there's a late fee attached, so whatever. That anxiety has stuck with me over the years. So it's like, say, so you don't have to run into that. Because who are you going to ask? Who are you going to call for the other 15? So things like that. You have to know how your past experience affects what you are dealing with today, right? So past instability, family financial stress, early responsibility. Where did you have to grow up early and take care of everybody in your family? I kind of did a video the other day about Glorilla and the whole thing they got going on. Previous income loss or trauma. So maybe you lost a house, or maybe you lost your car or something like that, and it has affected you. Those are past experiences, but they can definitely still dictate and run your whole life, and you don't even realize it because you're like, oh, I don't understand why I'm like this. That was 10 years ago. That was when I was 5 years old. How do I even realize this or remember this? But it's still impacting your nervous system. And yes, shameless, not shameless plug, that is why I do what I do, y'all. As a therapist and a financial coach, I help people, specifically high-achieving women, work through and heal their money relationships. And I'm offering this to you guys as well. So check out my link in my description. That's my page and all the details about coaching and all that kind of stuff. And I'm probably going to be starting a membership soon. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you like to join a membership with me around this topic? All right, guys, I hope you like this video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you day 8 for the 28-day challenge. See you soon. Bye.